Inflation, how the government is stealing from you and what you can do about it to save your money, to become prosperous, to become successful, despite this outrageous scam that the government puts on us. So welcome in, fam. Much love, Trav here. Something a little bit different. I'm the type of guy, and my channel is just trying to help as much as possible. So when I learn something, when something works for me, whatever the topic, I want to share it with you. So it's not just success, it's not just smoking weed, not smoking weed sobriety, it's not just, it's going to be Bitcoin, it's going to be some sleep, it's going to be something, anything that's going to help you. So it's going to enrich your life. Welcome to my channel. I'm just trying to help you, okay? This is very important. You might not understand it, but after watching this video, you're going to understand it way better, and you're going to come up with a plan. So inflation is stealing money from you. We're going to explain what inflation is. What is inflation? Inflation is when the price of goods are going up. Let me ask you, why are the prices of goods going up? Is it because there's fewer goods and more people? No, that's not why. There's more goods. There's more and more goods. Things are being produced more cheaper. Things are getting produced easier. Things are being produced more productively, more efficiently. Things should be getting cheaper, like phones get cheaper, technology gets cheaper. Things should be getting cheaper, but instead they're getting more expensive. Why are things getting more expensive when they should be getting cheaper? It's because the government creates lots more money, and there's just more money chasing fewer things. This would be fine if they were giving you some of that money, but they're not. You're not getting that money. They're giving it to their friends and their allies and their cronies and other people, and it's a way to basically tax you unlimited without you knowing about it, right? There's three forms of taxation. Well, we have the income tax, and then you have the inflation tax, and then you try to save your money by buying some kind of asset, but when you tap into that asset for income, then they capital gains tax you. So you're getting triple taxed. It's outrageous, it's ridiculous, it's evil, and there's a way around it that we're going to get to. So that's what inflation is cost of things going up because there's more money being created that's being given to people who are not you. So how's the money created? The US government and the Federal Reserve, we're not going to get too much into details here, but they can just create money out of nothing, and the way they spend that money is the government spends that money just paying their staff, their president, the Congress people, the senators, even the mailmen, just to fund. But also that money goes to weapons contractors, it goes to government contractors of all sorts, of all kinds. It's spent to buy corporate bonds. It's just given to different people, basically. It's given to a lot of people, big corporations, powerful people, but it's not being given to you, right? We got a little bit with a stimulus check, but it's generally not being given to you. It's being given to other people. They get to spend it first while it still has purchasing power, and by the time it gets to you, there's just less dollars, right? Fewer dollars, same amount of stuff. It's like they're pouring water into your soup, right? They're just they're increasing the size of the pie, and you have the same little piece here, right? So that's what inflation is. It's not natural, it's not normal, it's not good for anything. It's all lies that they tell you because they're just trying to take your money, basically. It's a way for them to tax you infinitely. It's a way for them to extract resources from people. So once you understand this, and you understand this about inflation, and look, inflation is a really important topic right now. We talk about it. Housing is up 20% in the last year. Gas and energy is up 25% in the last year. Food is up 5%. Everything is up across the board. It's more and more important to understand what's going on and what to do. Why are we getting poorer and richer, it seems, at least the lower class, when there's more and more abundance, there's more and more stuff, we're more and more productive? It's because it's getting extracted to the top via taxes, income tax, capital gains tax, but especially inflation is an evil secret tax that's put upon you. So how do you protect yourself from inflation? You buy and you hold assets, and people who buy and they hold assets are rewarded by inflation, or at least stays the same. I mean, it's just crazy to think that my mom paid for her University of California school, which costs like $40,000 a year now, for $80 a year. That's what she paid. And because the dollar just goes down, down, down. But certain things like gold, real estate, they hold their value. Roman times, you could take a gold coin, you could go into a shop, you could buy a nice toga, buy a nice belt, buy nice sandals. Today you can take a nice gold coin, you can go into a suit store, buy a nice suit, buy a belt, buy shoes. The purchasing power hasn't changed while the monetary price has gone up. And that's why it's one of the most insidious and evil things about inflation is like your house goes up in value, your gold coin goes up in value, your Bitcoin goes up in value. You want to convert it back into dollars, they're taxing you for the imaginary gain. It hasn't increased in purchasing power necessarily. It's just the price went up because of inflation and they're taxing you again. So the ways to beat inflation, and there's loopholes. The more wealthier I become and the wealthier circles that I'm in and I listen to people, I understand that wealthy people know about loopholes. There's all kinds of loopholes, tax loopholes. Money's funny, it doesn't make sense. It's people have unfair advantages, and it's good to be in that camp though, the group that knows what's going on. It's necessary, it's essential. So you buy assets that are sound, that are going to hold their value. Real estate, gold hasn't been very good recently, but historically it's been great. Stocks, equity, and companies is good. Cryptocurrency is especially good. You guys know I like Bitcoin. It's my primary. I love Bitcoin. I love Bitcoin because it is fixed supply. It can't be inflated. It is auditable code. You can look at the code and see exactly what's going on. No one has control over it. Governments don't have control over it. They can't shut it down even if they want to. There's everything to love about Bitcoin as a hedge against inflation. So once I saw the money printing, the helicoptering of money that happened after March 2020, and I got my stimulus check, that's when I went all in Bitcoin. And I want you to know that, and this is not financial advice, I'm not telling you what to do, but it's not too late if you think it's too late. You haven't invested yet, you see the prices at an all-time high. It's not too late. It's sort of late for this cycle, but it's not too late. This is just the beginning. The price will go up forever. Not in a straight line, but up. It will go up forever because the purchasing power of the dollar goes down forever. Purchasing power of fiat money always converges on zero because the cost of producing it is zero. All you need to do is type in a button and a cell, and type in a button in a cell on a computer, and you have more dollars. But to produce gold, it costs like $1,700 to mine an ounce. Bitcoin is costing like $40 million a day to mine the coins. You can't just make more. They have a real value that's attached to real world resource, whereas the dollar, any kind of fiat money, does not. So it converges to zero over time. So it's never too late to store your money in sound assets. The best time is always today, if it wasn't yesterday. So I mean, you have a number of options. Invest in anything, but you have to invest in something, anything, to get ahead of, not even get ahead of inflation, but not become ravaged and pillaged by it. Try to get yourself a raise, at least a 5% raise every year, 20% raise. If your employer won't do it, bounce between jobs. You should know that people who stay with one company tend to have lower pay in the longer term, because the best time to negotiate your pay is when you're hired. So if you hired many times, it allows you to negotiate your pay many times and leverage your past pay and continue to get paid more. Something that you should know. Okay, so one of the ways to get into avoid inflation is to, or take advantage of inflation, or at least tread water, is to get into these hard assets, real estate, stocks, Bitcoin. Another way is to take out debt. So for instance, if you get a home equity loan, you buy a house, you pay a 3% fixed interest rate for 30 years, 3% fixed when the value of your house is going up by 25% a year with inflation. Debt is a wonderful thing if that debt is used to buy assets. So taking out debt to buy Bitcoin, like Michael Saylor, MicroStrategy, turned $3 billion into $7 billion this year, something crazy like that, by using this strategy. Real estate, never paying off your debt if the rate on the debt is less than the rate of inflation. Just not even worrying about your debt, dying with a pile of debt. This is what wealthy people do. And never selling. So especially something you can do with Bitcoin, like real estate, is you can use it as collateral, put it up as collateral and receive fiat dollars in exchange, and then you get to keep your Bitcoin and you get to spend the dollars, and you pay no taxes on the sale, and you benefit, or at least you're not ruined by inflation, because you get to keep your asset. So if you look in history, 1920, early 1920s, German hyperinflation, the Weimar Republic. Hyperinflation happens time and time again. It's not an if, it's a when it happens to all currencies, all fiat currencies. What's his name? Hugo Stinnes, the inflation king. This guy was dominant in business because he was able to take out a huge amount of debt which you just paid it back later when it was worth almost nothing because inflation was so high. So now's a good time to pile on the debt. Not financial advice. Not financial advice, but now's a good time to pile on debt, buy Bitcoin, real estate, stocks, and never pay off your debt and die with a load of debt. So not financial advice at all. So personally, I have no debt right now actually, but I did use a big bag of debt to buy my Bitcoin, which I recently paid off just for peace of mind. But I'm probably, I'm when it's time to sell, and I'll probably be taking pieces off the table in the next year. I'm going to be using the strategy. I'm going to be using debt to do it. I'm not going to be selling. That's my plan. So just sharing a little bit about my plan, sharing with you about inflation, what inflation is. I want you to understand that this evil mechanism, hidden theft, taxation upon you is happening, and you have to invest no matter what, even if you don't think that you should. And you just buy anything and hold it and never sell it. Use debt if you have to. Not financial advice. If you want help, not financial advice, but help, one-on-one coaching, look at your situation, your finances, but your lifestyle and your health and your relationships and all this, and help you accelerate as a man, then there's a link down below to life coaching. So if you're interested in that, still doing that. If it's a need, a must to succeed, then sign up. Okay? Appreciate you, much love, and look forward to talking to you soon. Peace.